crude oil markets slide as OPEC Plus encounter problems. Guys, so today we've seen a bit of volatility in the oil market, and pretty much this morning there was this flurry of OPEC Plus related headlines going on. So first of all, just before I describe what happened today, I'll just give the context. So back in April, OPEC Plus agreed to cut output by 9.7 million barrels per day because the market was so oversupplied. Obviously, they were right, the market was horrendously oversupplied. Remember, WTI went negative and crude prices were at like historic lows. It was not good. And basically, OPEC Plus, they have been in discussions in the last couple of weeks to extend these output cuts because the current 9.7 million only goes on until the end of July, but various members within OPEC Plus want this to go on to the end of the year, or for another 3 months, or another 2 months, or another 1 month. Pretty much in terms of the extension, it looks as though the Russians and the Saudis have agreed on something between 1 and 2 months. But there's a problem, guys. There's something stopping this agreement from being officialized, and that is the fact that compliance to that 9.7 million barrel per day cut has so far been quite poor. So we had a bunch of this data come out the other day, like literally earlier on in this week, and it basically showed, that compliance in Iraq and Nigeria and a few other places, but they were the main two culprits, was bad. These two countries, they have a history of bad compliance, and this is something that has really annoyed the rest of OPEC, in particular the Saudis and Kuwait and the UAE, who have been doing additional cuts on top of their OPEC Plus commitments. And it looks like unless this compliance issue can be ironed out and just completely sorted, there's not going to be an agreement. And the risk to an extension to these output cuts because of bad compliance, that was the reason why oil markets were falling today. But there was an interesting thing, and it makes me feel like I think that they are probably going to be able to get an agreement in the end. The Saudis, as I noted just a second ago, they are doing 1 million barrels per day in additional cuts on top of their OPEC Plus commitment. But it looks like they're threatening to start pumping all that oil again and just doing what they said they would, rather than doing all those additional cuts. They're pretty much telling, Iraq and Nigeria and these other poor compliers, if you don't comply, we're gonna start up in production. So that threat in the past has worked to get everybody else to fall in line. But we shall see, guys. The next couple of days is going to be interesting. It looks like the meeting isn't going ahead tomorrow. Looks like it's going to go ahead as planned on the 10th. We'll see, probably be some more oil market volatility. That is pretty much it from me for now, and I'll see you in the next one.